I love the neckline variations and the different styles of sleeves, and I've never made anything with what I call flamenco style sleeves. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyla, and if you're one of my returning subscribers, thanks so much for stopping by. And I love combining two or more patterns to make something else. I don't know if it's the satisfaction of coming up with something that no one else has, or just a challenge to myself to see if I can do it. And that's what I'm doing in this video today. I've got these two patterns that are actually both tops. One I've had for years. Let's see, this one is Vogue V8392, and I've had it since, I want to say mid-2000s, but it was made in 2007. So it's probably still somewhere on the internet. And then I've also got a top from Burda that I just got during Joann's liquidation sale for $3. This is Burda 6225. So I like the sleeves on one, but the bodice on another. And I want to extend it and add pockets to it, hopefully if I have enough fabric. I've got this beautiful, I call it wisteria, or maybe freesia linen. It's not really lavender because there's a lot of a blue undertone to it, but I've got 2 yards. I think I have enough. I also have to make bias tape to finish off the collar, so hopefully I have enough to do all that I want to do. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm adding about 12 inches to the bottom part of the bodice. That's going to give me a nice amount of hemline. I want at least maybe 2 to 3 inches just so that it drapes well. And I think I can get the bodice front and back side by side, which is great because that will ensure that I have enough for pockets and the flounces on each sleeve, plus the bias tape that I have to make for the neckline. All right, this is the front piece cut, and I've added my length to it. I've also cut it a little bit at an angle on the outer edge, which I'll repeat with the back. And here is my dart in place with just a little piece of soap, and it's on both sides. Now I can move on to cutting out the back and then laying out all the pieces for the sleeve. Okay, so I wanted to do a comparison between the sleeves from both tops. And this is from the Vogue pattern that I'm really just using for the sleeves. But this is the one from the Burda top. I'm making a size 12. And there is a bit of extra on the sides for the one that's specific to the Burda top. So I may have to finagle just how much extra I add on to this cap sleeve, because this is where all the placement lines are for the flounces. And there's 3 of them. All right, so I think I've got everything placed where it should work out, and I'm really using up every little bit of this fabric. I save this space here for one of the pockets, and then I'll try to make up the other one somewhere in here and in here. And this is the bias strip. I have it on the fold here just so that you could see it all in one frame, but this will fit. I've already checked. Now with the flounces, because I made the sleeves a little bit wider, I may have to adjust the openings in each one, like making these holes just a little bit bigger. And the pattern called for the one flounce on the top was not connected completely around the arm, but the other two are. I may leave the other two open just like the top one, because if they don't fit around the arm. So that may actually be more comfortable as well and not really constricting. All right, I've got my seam binding tape done, and I've got all of the flounce sections and the pockets and the cap sleeve cut out. Now I can get started on constructing the dress. I'm going to start with the darts on either side of the bust and adding the pockets to the front and back. Oh my goodness, this is my last serger thread. Oh, I just broke it. I don't know how, but it's broken. I was trying to get ahead of the game and finish off these pockets with a serger overlock seam on the edge so that they were finished nice and neat. But yeah, this happened. Okay, so I guess I'll have to order some more. In the meantime, I'm either going to zigzag stitch these pockets or try to French seam them. Oh well, that happens sometimes, but we keep going. And it looks like the French seam idea is going to work on this, even though I would have preferred to have my pockets actually cut with the bodice pieces front and back. But since they're separate, I figured out a way to make it work. And what I'll do is before I start stitching the inside, I'll relieve some of this bulkiness at the top of the pocket and at the base of the pocket there, and press that just so that it lays flat, and then I can make my seam all the way around the outer of the edge of the pocket, and then continuing down to the bottom hem. Okay, I tried on the dress and this is just a little bit too long for me. So I thought as a comparison, I would just hold up the pattern piece of the Vogue pattern for the sleeves just to see where they ended their shoulder seam. And as you can see, there's a lot of, let me pull this down a little bit. There's a lot of excess fabric, which is fine for the Burda top, but I don't need quite that much. So I am going to shorten this a bit just so that the sleeves sit resting right at where my shoulder ends. That'll work out better for me. Here's a look at the seam binding tape from the inside. I'll press this flat and then stitch close to the edge all the way around. I transfer the placement lines where the flounces are placed from the pattern piece onto the fabric. This is where the smallest one will be placed, the middle one, and then the bottom flounce is just right before the edge of the sleeve. The pattern didn't show the actual bottom of the sleeve being hemmed. It looks like they left it raw, but I am going to finish that off because I think that may rub against my arm and just fray a little bit more than I want to. I will, however, leave the bottoms of each flounce raw. I'll just make a tiny stitch about 1/4 of an inch from the edge, just so that upon washing, after washing, it doesn't fray up too much. But I kind of like that idea of just leaving them raw. You can't really tell from the pattern here, but the fabrics that they use, cotton and gauze and batiste, which were the suggestions, I believe. Let's see. Yes. And broadcloth as well, which is just cotton. They'll all have a little bit of a ravel to them because they're woven. And I think that'll look kind of nice. So now I can start pinning these flounces on and go about seeing where they actually fall when pinned on the dress. This pendant was given to me when I was growing up from some neighbors from France, and I just added the little chain to it from Michael's or Joann or somewhere, but I thought it was perfect because it picked up the brassiness of the gold on the side. And this color, this shade of purple, is perfect. I've had this in my stash for years, and my jewelry stash, and that's quite another stash as well. But I thought this was perfect and that it matched it. Now it looks like I need to be going out. When I got this pattern, what drew me to it was the variation of the neckline styles and also the sleeves. And I've never made anything with flamenco style sleeves like on UC. I've changed the neckline because I thought that the darts would be a little bit too much with the ruffles as well. And that's where the Burda pattern with the smooth neckline and just straight bodice, darts right on the side of the bust was perfect. I was able to squeeze it all out. I'm so happy because I didn't think that I would have enough, but being that the fabric was 60 inches wide, I think was my saving grace. If it was 45 inches, I don't know. That would have been a push. I probably wouldn't have had enough for pockets or enough to make the bias strip for the neckline. But it all worked out in the end. And now I've got another beautiful linen creation to wear in this still steamy hot weather that is lingering. I do feel, however, that the nights are changed a little bit because we're getting into the 70s, which doesn't sound that warm, but compared to what we've been going through with the humidity level, paired with the temperature, it feels nice. Well, I hope you got another idea on how to, as someone commented on one of my other videos, how to Frankenstein a garment by using 2, 3, or more patterns to combine them and turn them into something else. I love doing it, and I can tell by the comments that I've gotten on other videos that you all do too. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new here, please comment and subscribe and see what else that I make and what may inspire you to make something as well. I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye, everyone.